years. I had a brick and mortar yoga studio for 18 years. I had a paddleboard business for 15 years in a seasonal resort community on the eastern tip of an area called Long Island in the state of New York. It's an exclusive resort community known as the Hamptons. And for literally 30 years, I existed in what I call a feast or famine cycle, because we had to earn all of our money in basically 3 months. If you are familiar with the United States and our national holidays, Memorial Day is the end of May and Labor Day is the beginning of September. And that usually is like the unofficial summer season, not on the calendar, right? Summer, June 21st, right? But the unofficial summer season is that season between Memorial Day and Labor Day. And we literally had to work if you were in any sort of service industry. So I never thought of myself as like, oh, I'm in a service industry, but I was in a service industry teaching yoga. You are a service professional, right? Whether you're a waitress, or for me, it was like, I'm a yoga teacher, you know, this like identity of like, however, I was still in a service industry, servicing people that were on vacation or people that were second homeowners, wealthier second homeowners that lived in New York City, or a lot of Europeans actually, different like wealthy areas of the country. And that's what I did for many, many years. So that's where I was 3 years ago when I joined this business. You did mention low ticket network marketing. So that was the first thing I tried about 8 years ago, because I knew I needed a way out of what I was doing and that it was not sustainable as I got older. I'm turning 51 next month. So I knew that as I got older, this life was not sustainable. Like, was I going to be, you know, driving a trailer around the Hamptons with 20 paddle boards at the age of 55 or 60, right? Was I going to be running around into people's homes, you know, all day long, all summer long, teaching private yoga at the age of 60 or 65, right? So I had no pension, no backup plan, no retirement, no job security. If I got sick, I didn't get paid. When I had my babies and I tried to take a maternity leave, I did not get paid. You know, with that being said, I owned a brick and mortar yoga studio for 18 years. So I was a business owner in that way. And you would think like, oh, I can step away from that and still earn money. But the reality was that if I wasn't at my yoga studio, the yoga studio didn't thrive, which is why I ultimately closed it, because I couldn't step away from it. The yoga studio was me, even though I had, you know, many amazing yoga teachers, like it needed me there. So it was this trading time for money, not having that location freedom, and then this seasonal cycle of summer versus winter, a 3-month, you know, New York cold climate, 3 months of summer to make all the income versus the other 9 months where basically we just had to, you know, eat beans and rice and pray that the money that we made in July and August would last until the following season. So when I found this business, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. And it's been a beautiful journey, not an easy journey necessarily. Like, and I think you could agree with that, Monica, like the entrepreneurial journey is not for the faint of heart. And this business is not unlike any other, where it has its ups and downs and it can feel like a roller coaster ride. But when you embrace that, it's magic.
Yeah, I love what you shared. I just wanted to kind of feel into it. Like I can see you just describe your life in few minutes, right? But I can also feel the hardship, because the moment there is such a pressure. I mean, I'm a solo mama just recently, 5 years ago. There is such a pressure to provide for your family, and we put this brave facade that we can do it, right? So very often women are super independent, super strong, super capable, from building furniture, houses, carrying 20 paddleboards. but really deep down, we don't want to do it. We do it because we have to do it. And in this business, so I really want to acknowledge you for all this hardship, because it's not just like, you know, I work three months a year and 100,000, and that, no, there's lots of internal pressure, you know, this December, January, you have to wait till the summer times. And in this business, when I started 4.5 years ago, before that, I was also like you, running. And this business brought something which is very, very unique. And I would like to, you are a yoga teacher, you do the yoga practice for yourself. And I sometimes you do classes, but not because you have to, because you want to, right? That's your life. In this business, as you mentioned, it's like any other business. You need to put your effort, your time, you need to make your activities, you know, schedule. But we put so much attention, like really so much attention on energetics, on how you feel, what you think, what you read, what you eat, what you drink, who you're speaking to. Like that holistic approach is so unique, because that what we believe is actually it, because you are the product, and the system which we have is easy. It's easy peasy. The system is really easy. So tell me, how was your the biggest struggle or biggest obstacle you needed to overcome to go from the mindset work to being entrepreneur, where actually your business is your energy, is your alignment to, it's your alignment to the highest, right? And if you vibe high, you attract the clients. It's not the post, it's not the strategy, it's you.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think the most difficult thing for me, I remember about 7 years back when I was sort of in the heyday, the height of my paddleboard business, which generated a lot of money over the course of a summer season. And I had these groups of women, very, very, very wealthy women, that would come out on the water with me. And I would teach paddleboard. I'd take them for a paddleboard, and then teach paddleboard yoga, and, you know, drop these anchors in the water and set up the whole thing. And at the same time, one of them was, she was just very grateful. And she was always like acknowledging my effort. And she said to me one day, and at first I sort of took pride in it. And then I thought after the fact, like, I don't ever want to be thought of that way ever again. She said, "You're the hardest working woman I've ever seen. You work harder than anyone I know." And my work ethic as a blue collar, you know, growing up poor and kind of coming from nothing and building everything from scratch and having multiple businesses and being an entrepreneur, that part of me was like proud, right? And then the other part of me, just what you just said about as a woman, and I was also a single mama for, I have 2 older children, a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old, and I got divorced 15 years ago. So, and that was around the time that I was forced to be resourceful with my paddleboard business and my yoga studio and like all of these different things. But I remember thinking when she said this of like, I never want anybody to think of me in that way. Because it was just like, I did not actually take that as a compliment, because the fact that somebody viewed me in that way just simply meant that, yeah, that's what I did. I worked my ass off. And is that what I wanted to be doing day in and day out? And while other people were enjoying, you know, the fruits of my efforts, or, you know, whatever.
It's a huge paradox, right? You was facilitating all these rich women. I mean, nothing wrong with rich, right? That's what we are here. But all these ladies having a, to be honest, like, we want to be rich, we want to be on that paddleboard, but also that woman who is facilitating, like, what a big difference going to these rich houses where they spend on a meal what you earn in a month, right? You know, these huge differences. But anyway, so when I started this business, I realized that I have very poor money mindset. I don't know about you, but my biggest issue was, I was thinking, I'm highly spiritual and I'm financially broke. What is happening? And I didn't know that it's my money mindset. So what was your money mindset like when you started this business?
Yeah, so that I didn't even answer your previous question, but it comes back to this. It was basically like my mindset, my money mindset, my mindset in general was this idea that for me, like I wasn't broke. I supported my family. Like I made an income. I made a 6-figure income doing what I did. I owned my own home. I paid for the dance classes. I paid for the college education. But my mindset was I have to work my ass off to earn that money, which was okay, but it still wasn't enough. It didn't set me free in any way, shape, or form. So my mindset was this mindset of you have to work really hard or you're not worthy of earning a full-time income or earning an abundant income. So that was my money mindset as well, was like this idea of money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work really, really, really hard for your money. Not this idea of like money that the universe is abundant, and money in fact does grow on trees because it's paper.
Yeah.
So I had to shift my money mind. I mean, there's so many things tied up in that, but that was a big part of it. Just a lot of scarcity and lack around, just also deeply generational as well, from parents and grandparents. And yeah.
I love it. I love it. We're talking to each other like we know each other. We're like soul sisters. We are such a same vibe, because what you just mentioned, I help women, especially European women, to get out of scarcity and poverty mindset and break the generational karmic lineage of like, I'm not worthy. I need to work hard to be somebody. I need to be wealthy so people can see me. All these kind of bullshitting stories. By the way, you can swear if you want. It's totally allowed. I do it all the time. So let's just talk about what happened. So we have a business, just to give you an idea what we're talking about. We have online business, which is a high ticket affiliate with a company which makes amazing water technology for 50 years. And we chose this company to propel us towards wealth generation. Some people do it really fast. Some people do it in medium time. Some people take some, longer time. But we all get to a legacy income, which is income for life, if we do not give up, right? And so the strategy is there. We do masterclasses. We invite people to see the masterclass, and they say, yes, it's for me. We send them to the amazing educational platform. Easy. The biggest part is between here, self-sabotage and the inner chit chat. So tell me, please, what has happened? Because I know you had an amazing breakthrough, amazing result recently. Like your results skyrocketed. You earned very high income per month in this year. So tell me, like, how did you do it? What has happened in your life? How is it?
I think so, meditations and affirmations and EFT, emotional freedom technique, like all these things that I've been doing, and knowing like, yes, I have to do this inner work. I have to do this personal development. I have to overcome my scarcity and lack thinking, and nothing was really working. And until I actually invested more money that I thought I didn't have into actually working with mentors, a spiritual mentor, and also a man in our company that is at a very, very high level, who's been in the company. Sorry, there was a truck going by, for 11 years, who is at a multiple passive 7-figure income. I invested money, a good chunk of money, over $5,000 into a mentorship program with him. And I invested another, at this point, it's up to like $12,000 to $15,000 actually, into a mentorship, like a one-on-one sort of coaching mentorship with what I call a spiritual mentor, who's guided me through everything from breath work over Zoom, on a Zoom call, to shamanic healing, to a plant medicine online dieta with a master plant called Noyarao. And not to say like that's what I needed, but somehow maybe that financial investment and kind of being at a point in my business 3 years in, or at the, 2.5 years in, where I was like, okay, like I'm doing okay, but like I'm ready to like catapult this, like something, it's fine, but I want to start to collapse timelines, and I want to start to really create a much more abundant income and have the results that I'm seeing other people getting. Because, and then one of my spiritual mentor, one of her biggest things with me, that this word, I was saying it yesterday, is just trust, right? Trust and trust and trust. Like you're saying, like trust that it's coming, trust that it's happening, trust that you're worthy, trust that you can. And she would say to me things like, you are more, she's like, and she mentors a lot of people in our business actually. And she's like, I've seen so many people with these like $20,000 months, $50,000 months, with a fraction of your experience, knowledge, skill set, life experience, age, entrepreneurial background, like like this much, like the amount I have in my big toe. And I had to step into that, like, I am worthy and I am capable, and not to compare myself with others, but to compare in such a way as to be like, I started saying like, if she can, I can. If she can, I can. Why not? Why not me? Why not you? Why not me?
This is so spot on. This is so spot on, Jess. I feel like you're talking to my soul. I think that your toe next to my toe, that's saying, because I have tons of knowledge, life experience, and what I've been going through this week, particular, finding out that I still have self-sabotaging beliefs, self-sabotaging emotions. So actually, what I did, the best way to go over it is to teach. So I taught and I mentored people about this topic. I dive deep because that's the fastest way. You realize you something, you learn about it, and you teach other people. So yeah, investing into yourself, especially if you're already at certain level and you think, oh yeah, I got it. I swollen the book. I am clever. No, when you reach that point, that's the time to invest. So that's exactly, and not particularly only on strategy, but also on the energetics, right? Like, because the self-beliefs are all deep down in our cellular level, somewhere imprinted, this generation or the past. So we do run different masterclasses and mentorships. And so what would you say, I'm really aware of the time, and what would you say, Jess, like, how is your life now? And what would you, second part is, what would you tell to women who have been watching me on the social media for like 4.5 years and doubting, or like, not sure, what shall we do? Is it real? What is this girl about?
I think, sorry, they're like right out in front of the house here. I would say what I say to, all the time is like, what, again, like this idea of like, if you've been watching on the sidelines for 4.5 years or 1 year or 6 months, and you don't ever take that leap to explore or try, you might be 4 more years down the track thinking like, oh, like I should have done it then, or why am I still waiting? And it's just like, what have you got to lose? And I say this all the time because we love our water. We stand behind the product. Like, I would never do this business if I didn't fully believe in and wasn't deeply passionate about the product. So the worst thing that could happen is you've invested into a product that will benefit your health for the next 30 years, and will support your health in a way that really, like, nothing else can. Like, all I do now is drink the water. I don't take supplements. I don't, I eat really, really well, of course, and I take care of my body, but that's the worst thing that could happen. So what are you waiting for? Like, I also am a big believer as a 50-year-old woman, and I'm a surfer, and I love to world travel. And I personally always like sort of pushing the edges of my comfort zone, right? Or what I think is possible, or what I think I'm capable of, learning a new skill set, whether it's in business or some sort of physical endeavor, or like solo travel. A few years ago, I traveled to Haiti to work in a birth center. And I was terrified. Like I literally was this close to not going. It was like all of the travel advisories on the internet, do not go, dangerous, do not go, do not go. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go. So this idea of like, for women that are watching and you're scared, nothing is happening inside that comfort zone, inside that box. Like if nothing changes, nothing changes. Nothing new is going to happen from that place. Nothing exciting really is going to happen from that place. If you're just living in your, in that box of like what, what the familiar, right? From the known to the unknown, from what is manifest now to the unmanifest, right? Like exactly. In meditation, we see this too. It's like we have to dive beyond the known into the unknown.
Yes.
And that's where the magic is.
Exactly. And also tell me a little bit, I don't know if we can do any financial disclaimers, but because we haven't even talked, like, what was your result this year? Like, what has shifted? Like the amount of, you have team of people, you lead master classes, as your quality of life increased, or your inner peace, what has shifted once you receive, let's say 20, 50, 100K into your bank account? Imagine, what does it do to your nervous system? That's what I ask my ladies, because you want to receive your 10K, 20K, 50K, but if your nervous system is not ready to receive it, you're going to lose it. You're going to self-sabotage it before it even arrives. So in order to hold that amount of money, you needed to expand your body, right? Your thinking, your capacity, and relax into it.
Yeah. With the type of money that I'm earning now, like, so in the first quarter of 2024, over 60K. So first quarter, Q1 of January, February, March, over 60K. So for me, like, I have a daughter in college now, paying for that college education. We're living in 2 places. I still have a mortgage. We have mortgage, we own our home in New York with a mortgage. I own a brand new car there that I was on a finance, right? So my life is not inexpensive. And this kind of wealth for me was like, this was the bare minimum of what was required for me to be able to be like, okay, now we're going to go into like true freedom, in the sense of like, whereas the survival mode and carrying a ton of debt and like barely being able to get by has shifted. And yes, my nervous system, my sleep, that was like big for me. Like I used to be awake at night worrying about money.
Yeah.
Here. I'm so sorry.
No, I don't hear anything, by the way. You hear it, but we don't hear it. It's so cool. Universe is brilliant.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, so actually the what you just said, and we're going to wrap it up because I'm aware of the time, is that this business, if you do not give up, and if you give yourself the permission to step in and say, okay, very often, most of us don't have pension. We don't have savings and we don't have pension, right? If you're in a holistic business of some kind, spiritual, we live from day to day, and most of us have debt because we are givers. That's given. So this piece of business, this model, you are supported by people, you have a proven method, you always have your sponsor, someone who actually takes you and helps you by hand until you can fly. But what it does, apart from money, it gives you that inner peace. Imagine that you no longer have to worry about money, that you know that you're abundant, your mindset is great, that you can always ask for support. That is priceless. That knowing that you are in full trust and things are aligning to your purpose and mission.
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge.
It's massive. You cannot put money onto it. So yeah, I really celebrate you for reaching that level of sleeping all night without worry about money, because it's massive. If you've done it for 30 years, this is huge. And money is just, it's mindset and money and the community and everything. So I would love to really celebrate you one more time. And thank you so much for this wonderful chat. And it was lovely.
So nice to connect.
Yeah. I'll see you in Japan.
See you in Japan. Yay. Thanks.
So,
Bye.
thank you so much. Bye bye.